2. The Ottoman Empire explained. From glory to collapse, the Ottoman Empire was one of history's longest-lasting and most influential empires, stretching over 6 centuries from the late 13th century until its dissolution after World War I. At its height, it spanned Southeast Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. Its legacy continues to shape modern-day borders, politics, and culture across these regions. Founded by a small Turkic principality in Anatolia, the Ottomans would go on to become a dominant world power, presiding over a multi-ethnic, multi-religious empire that served as a crossroads between East and West. Their capital, Constantinople, renamed Istanbul, became a vibrant center of art, trade, religion, and diplomacy. Through brilliant military campaigns, strategic marriages, and savvy diplomacy, the Ottomans built a vast and diverse empire. Their legal systems, religious tolerance, and administrative structure allowed them to govern people of various backgrounds with relative stability for centuries. They also became cultural patrons, giving rise to remarkable achievements in architecture, literature, and science. The rise of the Ottomans 1299-1453. The capture of Adrianople in 1361 was more than just a military triumph, it was a strategic milestone. Located in Thrace, Adrianople gave the Ottomans a strong foothold in Europe and served as a base for further campaigns into the Balkans. From there, Ottoman forces expanded rapidly, pushing into modern-day Bulgaria, Greece, Serbia, and beyond. The empire's growing strength was fueled by its efficient use of cavalry, flexible military tactics, and the incorporation of conquered peoples into its ranks. By the late 14th century, the Ottomans had begun to emerge as a dominant power in southeastern Europe. Their rise alarmed many European states, particularly the Christian kingdoms in the Balkans. In 1389, the Battle of Kosovo marked a pivotal moment. Although the battle ended in a stalemate, the death of Serbian Prince Lazar and the weakening of Balkan resistance opened the door for further Ottoman expansion. Soon after, in 1402, the Ottomans faced a major setback when they were defeated by the Central Asian warlord Tamerlane, Timur, at the Battle of Ankara. Sultan Bayezid I was captured, and the empire briefly fractured into rival factions ruled by his sons. This period, known as the Ottoman Interregnum, lasted until 1413, when Mehmed I re-established central authority and reunited the empire. The fall of Constantinople and the expansion era 1453-1566. Suleiman the Magnificent, 1520-1566, presided over what is widely considered the golden age of the Ottoman Empire. His reign marked the peak of Ottoman territorial expansion, cultural brilliance, and administrative sophistication. By the mid-16th century, the empire stretched across 3 continents, from Hungary and the gates of Vienna in Europe, to Mesopotamia and the Persian Gulf in the east, and from the Crimean steppes in the north, down to Egypt, the Red Sea, and the Arabian Peninsula in the south. Suleiman was not only a formidable military commander, leading campaigns in Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, but also a visionary statesman. He was known in the Islamic world as Kanuni, the lawgiver, for his comprehensive legal reforms. He harmonized Sultanic law, canon, with Islamic law, Sharia, ensuring justice and stability across the empire's vast and diverse territories. In Europe, he famously captured Belgrade, 1521, and Rhodes, 1522, and dealt a crushing blow to Hungary at the Battle of Mohacs, 1526, where the Hungarian king was killed. This effectively brought much of Hungary under Ottoman influence. He later laid siege to Vienna in 1529, though the campaign was ultimately unsuccessful. Nevertheless, it demonstrated the extent of Ottoman power and ambition deep into Central Europe. In the Middle East, Suleiman consolidated Ottoman control over Iraq, wresting Baghdad from the Safavid Empire of Persia in 1534. This not only extended Ottoman territory but also gave them control of key Islamic cities like Najaf and Karbala. Suleiman continued to strengthen the centralized administrative system of the empire. He restructured the tax system, curbed corruption, and emphasized meritocracy in governance. His legal code became a model that would be used throughout the empire long after his death. governing a multi-ethnic empire. The Ottomans managed a vast and diverse empire with remarkable efficiency, using a system that was both flexible and pragmatic. At its height, the empire governed tens of millions of people from many different ethnic, religious, and linguistic backgrounds, including Turks, Arabs, Greeks, Armenians, Slavs, Kurds, Jews, and others. Maintaining order and loyalty in such a multi-ethnic empire required a sophisticated administrative approach. One of the most distinctive features of the Ottoman administrative and military structure was the devshirme system. Beginning in the 14th century, this practice involved the periodic collection of Christian boys, mainly from the Balkans, who were taken from their families, converted to Islam, and trained to serve the state. These boys were given a rigorous education, often in the Enderun, the palace school, where they studied languages, science, law, and warfare. The most talented rose through the ranks to become top officials, governors, generals, or even Grand Vizier, the empire's highest political position under the Sultan. A portion of these boys were trained as elite soldiers in the Janissary Corps, the Sultan's standing army and personal guard. The Janissaries were renowned for their discipline, loyalty, and battlefield effectiveness. For centuries, they were a key instrument of Ottoman military success. The devshirme system, though controversial by modern standards, was seen by the Ottomans as a way to ensure a loyal, professional bureaucracy and military force that was separate from the traditional nobility. To manage the empire's vast religious diversity, the Ottomans implemented the millet system, an innovative method of indirect rule. Under this system, non-Muslim religious communities, including Greek Orthodox Christians, Armenians, and Jews, were granted a significant degree of autonomy. In return, the millets pledged loyalty to the Sultan and the empire. This arrangement reduced the need for constant oversight by the central government and helped maintain social stability. While these communities were considered second-class citizens, dhimmis, and had to pay a special tax, jizya, they were generally protected and allowed to practice their faiths in peace. The end of the Ottoman Empire and the rise of modern Turkey. The final blow came in the aftermath of World War I. The Ottoman Empire officially ended in 1922 when the Sultanate was abolished. In 1923, the Republic of Turkey was founded under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, a former Ottoman officer and war hero. Ataturk introduced sweeping reforms, abolished the Caliphate in 1924, introduced secular laws and education, shifted from Arabic script to Latin alphabet, pushed for a Western-oriented, nationalist identity. Turkey distanced itself from its Ottoman past in many ways, but the empire's legacy remains deeply woven into the country's identity, architecture, and society.